Happy Friday, HawkRadio. It's noon. I almost said midnight. It's noon. Welcome to Emily's Playhouse. I am Emily. It is March the 8th today. Yesterday was my friend Olivia's birthday, so happy birthday to her. She turned 20. It's a big week for birthdays. My dad turned 60 on the 2nd, and my friend Mackenzie turned 20 on, I believe the 4th is her birthday. But yeah, today is National Women's Day, so shout out to all women out there and all who identify as women out there. It's your day. I think every day should be Women's Day, to be honest. Men aren't. We don't need men. Oh yeah, shout out to my sister who is on her way to her music performance assessment. I was texting her before the show started, and she told me to wish her good luck. So break a leg, Kristen. I think she's playing something. She plays like 3 different instruments, so I don't know what she's playing today. Either saxophone or bassoon or oboe, I guess. But whatever she's playing, good luck at Blake High School. In honor of Women's Day and Olivia's birthday, me and Olivia saw Captain Marvel yesterday. That came out last night, technically today, and it was really phenomenal. Spoiler alert really quick. Don't listen if you intend to see Captain Marvel. I cried 0.2 seconds into it because they changed the Marvel title, you know, like with all the superheroes, the dun 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 dun, that whole Marvel Studios title card. They changed it from all the superheroes in the Marvel Universe to all of Stan Lee's, all of his cameos. And I was like, "Aw, Stan!" And then it cut to a black card and it said, "Thank you, Stan." And the whole movie theater erupted in applause. And it was like, "Yeah, Stan the man!" And it was so sweet. And I really like that title card better because I mean, he's the one that started it all. He also had a cameo in the movie too. The movie was great. It was just kind of hard to, I don't know. I think they messed up the timeline a little bit with the Tesseract. Spoiler alert: the Tesseract is in the movie, and I just don't know. Because at this point in time, the movie is set in 1995, so Howard Stark would have the Tesseract. He would have fished it out of the ocean, and he would be studying it, but he is dead. So at some point, he gave the Tesseract to the woman in this movie, and it was in space. They found it in space, so I guess it makes sense, but I don't know. It was just really hard to follow, but the movie was phenomenal. They made Samuel L. Jackson look young, and Clark Gregg looked young. It was a great movie. Go check it out. There were no strong men in this movie at all. It was amazing. Go check it out in theaters. What else is going on? We have Rocky Horror this week. Tomorrow I will be playing Trixie. Go check out Hell on Heels at the 𝘈𝘢𝘁 Cinemas in Carrollwood, 11778 Northdale Mabry Highway, Tampa, Florida, 33618. I got it memorized by now. But yeah, every second and fourth Saturday we do a show, and it is the second week of the month. Yeah. Shout out to the New York Rocky Horror Picture Show cast. I'll talk about that in a second. I saw them in my absence, and it was amazing. They were great. Spring break is starting, so I hope you guys have some big spring break plans. Looking forward this next week. I am going to Disney, I believe, with my friend Mackenzie, who just celebrated her 20th birthday, on Sunday. Bless her heart, she's a trooper. She's going to Epcot tomorrow, I guess, and she asked me if I wanted to go on Sunday with her to, like, Animal Kingdom or Hollywood Studios, and I said, heck yeah. So I guess that's what we're doing on Sunday in the afternoon, evening. Hopefully get some fast passes. But yeah, if you didn't already know, I was in New York for last weekend. That's why we didn't have a show last weekend. Sorry if you tuned in and you didn't hear my dulcet tones. But yeah, I was up in New York on a school trip, radio conference actually, and I had my show Emily's Playhouse, this one right here. I had it critiqued by a man named Alan Peterson. He's great. He gave me some great tips that I will take into consideration. And it was I saw a lot of landmarks. That's basically what I wanted to do. I wanted to see, like landmarks where they shot. I'm a movie nut, obviously. So I wanted to see like landmarks where they shot movies. Like we went to the New York Public Library where they shot Ghostbusters, and obviously the Empire State Building, King Kong. Where else did we go? Grand Central Station. There's a scene in Madagascar. And I'm sure many other movies, but Madagascar, because it has the line, Grand Central Station. It's grand and it's central. That's how I remember it. It was grand and it was central. Underground. It took a while to get from, like, the entrance to the main, you know, Grand Central Station where everything's located at. But, yeah. What else did we see? Movie-wise. I went to the 9/11, what do you call it, museum, and, like, all the pools and stuff. The memorial. Can't talk today. Hasn't been that long. But, yeah, that was beautiful. Everything was so serene there, and it was just a great, you know, remembrance place for those who lost their lives there. It was really surreal being there, like, in the place where it happened in my lifetime. It really opened my eyes, and it was like, whoa, this was an actual event that happened while I was alive. You know, it wasn't just something I read about in books. Like, even though I don't remember it, it actually happened. I'm standing at Ground Zero. But yeah, I don't want to call it a trash museum, but they literally had, like, any and everything that they could find from Ground Zero that day, and they put it up in the museum. Like, there were, like, squeegees and, like, bus passes and burnt papers and everything, big and small. But it was beautiful. It's really moving. Check it out. I think everybody should check it out at least once in their lifetime. What else did I see? Oh, I saw Trump Tower. Flipped it off. It was great. Yeah. I have to go through my pictures now to tell you everything that I saw. It was a great weekend. It really was. I saw the Macy's, you know, where they do the Thanksgiving parade. I saw Rockefeller Center. That was the last day. That's why it was slipping my mind. Last day I was there, I saw Rockefeller Center, and I saw NBC Studios. Got to walk through. I wish I could have taken a tour, but it was our last day. I totally would have if it was our, like, first, second, or third day there, but it was our last day. We did it super last minute. Sorry, I have to sneeze. So Radio City Music Hall. I forgot FAO Schwartz was there, you know, like, where they shot the movie Big with Tom Hanks. I played on the piano. It was amazing. And it snowed. It was snowing. First time seeing snow falling. It was great. It was so great. I had cheesecake. What else? Oh, I went to Times Square briefly. It was great. Rode the subway for the first time. It was super confusing. I hated it. If I could walk, I tried to walk. But there were some, like, if I had to go uptown to go see Trump Tower, I had to take a subway. And that was the only time I got lost on the subway. I went further uptown, and I was like, oh, no. So, but I figured it out. I'm here. I'm back. And, yeah, I saw the New York City Rocky Horror Picture Show troupe. Being on a Rocky Horror Picture Show cast, I kind of try to visit my extended Rocky family. We're like one big community, one big family, us Shadowcasters. I try to visit whenever I travel. There wasn't one. I've only been to Guam and Oklahoma and now New York, but there weren't any Rocky Horror casts in those other two places. So I was like, wait a minute, I'm in New York. There has to be a Rocky Horror cast somewhere. So, and there was, just 10 minutes away from where I was staying, and they put on a great show. I have new friends now, and it's great. Check them out if you're in the Chelsea area of New York, Manhattan. They're called NYCRHPS. Put on a great show. Their tech, their props, and their light and soundboard was phenomenal. I was like, wow, we gotta get on this. But yeah, shout out to Rocky Horror. This week, I got new hair. Kinda. I shaved half my head and dyed it red. Just 'cause, why not, right? Change it up. So, I'm so used to it. I've had brown hair with bangs my whole life, super thick, and it's just weird now having this light, you know, straight red hair and an undercut, you know. It's crazy. I love it. It looks so great. I look like Kim Possible. Last day of the Strawberry Festival is this Sunday, so check that out while you still can. I think Bay Area Ren Fest is still going on throughout this whole month. Go check out my friend Pipsy Pinwheel and her sideshow. She's swallowing swords and stuff. We love her. And yeah, the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, I think today is their last show at Carrollwood Players, so go check them out. Did I cover everything? I think I did. That's it for our intro. So in honor of, today we are going to be talking about Avatar, the movie, the James Cameron movie, not the animated series on Nickelodeon formerly. But I'm also going to be talking about The Umbrella Academy, Gerard Way's comic book turned Netflix series. And I'm going to be talking about the Jonas Brothers, who are back. That's exciting. It's going to be a great show today. I'm so excited. In honor of National Women's Day, I'm going to be playing this song by the Cheetah Girls. I hope you remember it. And then stay tuned. We'll be right back to talk about Avatar. That's an early 2000s jam if I've ever heard one. That was Girl Power by the Cheetah Girls. Welcome back to Emily's Playhouse. I'm Emily. And in case you missed the intro, today we are talking about James Cameron's Avatar, which came out 10 years ago. When? 10 years ago in December. So we got a little bit. So, in case you missed a couple episodes ago, I went to Disney for President's Day with my friend Jessica, and she made me wait like 2 hours for the Avatar ride at Pandora at Animal Kingdom. New Pandora Land, it opened like the day I graduated, I think, so not even 2 years ago. Relatively new. And speaking of Disney, just a quick side thought, Star Wars Land opens August 29th, so get your fast passes while you still can. Rest in peace, Hollywood Studios, for a little while. But Avatar, I wrote Flight of Passage is the name of the ride, and she made me wait like 2 hours for it. And I had no idea what I was looking at as I was going through Pandora, no idea what these plants were or what people were taking pictures in front of. I had no idea where I was. Everything was so alien. And I was just like, I've never seen the movie. I got to see the movie, and maybe I'll appreciate it. So after coming back from Disney that day, I bought the movie, the collector's edition. So there's like 3 discs in there. And as in the spirit of James Cameron, you have to switch the DVD halfway through to watch the other half of the movie. Like, there's disc 1, and it's like the first half of the movie, and then disc 2 is the second half. It's like 2 different movies. And then the third disc is like how they made it all. It's like a whole hour-long documentary. Over an hour long. It's like an hour and a half long documentary. I watched it. It was phenomenal. So yeah, let's get started. I'm just reading the summary here. So Avatar is a 2009 American epic science fiction film directed, written, produced, and co-edited by James Cameron. It stars Sam Worthington as Jake Sully, a disabled former Marine who becomes part of the Avatar program after his twin brother is killed. His military background helps the Na'vi warriors relate to him. Cameron cast the Australian actor after a worldwide search for promising young actors, preferring relative unknowns to keep the budget down. Worthington, who was living in his car at the time, auditioned twice early in development, and he has signed on for possible sequels. They're supposed to be making like 5. Cameron felt that because Worthington had not done a major film, he would give the character, quote, a quality that is really real. Cameron said he has that quality of being a guy you'd want to have a beer with, and he ultimately becomes a leader who transforms the world. He also plays Jake's dead twin brother, Tommy. It also stars Zoe Saldana as Neytiri, the daughter of the leader of the Matakaya, the Na'vi clan central to the story. She's attracted to Jake because of his bravery, though frustrated with him for what she sees as his naivety. He's naive. And stupidity. She serves as Jake's love interest. The character, like all the Na'vi, was created using performance capture, mocap, and its visual aspect is entirely computer-generated. Saldana is also signed on for potential sequels, which is cool. It also stars... Who's famous here? What's her name? Sigourney Weaver. Sigourney Weaver as Dr. Grace Augustine, an exobiologist and head of the Avatar program. She's also Sully's mentor and an advocate of peaceful relations with the Na'vi, having set up a school to teach them English. She's in every movie about aliens, so I'm not even surprised. I was watching it for the first time. I'm like, is that Sigourney Weaver? It turned out to be, in fact, Sigourney Weaver. So the film is set in the mid-22nd century, the year 2154 to be exact. Humans have depleted Earth's natural resources, leading to a severe energy crisis. So it's plausible it could happen by that time. The Resources Development Administration, RDA for short, mines for a valuable mineral, unobtainium, on Pandora, a densely forested habitable moon orbiting gas giant Polyphemus in the Alpha Centauri star system. Fictional, he made this up. I don't think there's actually a Pandora, but who knows. Pandora, whose atmosphere is poisonous to humans, is inhabited by the Na'vi, a species of 10-foot tall, blue-skinned, sapient humanoids that live in harmony with nature and worship a mother goddess named 𝘚𝘌𝘐. Kind of like Yahweh, except backwards. See how he created this whole language. It's amazing. To explore Pandora's biosphere, scientists use Na'vi human hybrids called avatars, operated by genetically matched humans. Jake Sully, a paraplegic former Marine, replaces his deceased identical twin brother as an operator of one. Dr. Grace Augustine, head of the Avatar program, considers Sully an inadequate replacement but accepts his assignment as a bodyguard. Because his twin brother was the science guy he was saying in the beginning. He's the scientist, and Jake Sully is the Marine. So he doesn't feel like he's adequate either. While protecting the avatars of Grace and fellow scientist Dr. Norm Spellman as they collect biological data, Jake's avatar is attacked by a 𝘚𝘏𝘓, some kind of raptor thing, and flees into the forest, where he is rescued by 𝘚𝘏𝑡𝑟𝑖, a female Na'vi. Witnessing an auspicious sign, she takes him to her clan, whereupon 𝘚𝘏𝑡𝑟𝑖's mother, 𝘚𝑗𝑡, the clan's spiritual leader, orders her daughter to initiate Jake into their society. Colonel Miles Quaritch, head of RDA's private security force, promises Jake that the company will restore his legs if he gathers information about the Na'vi and the clan's gathering place, a giant tree called Home Tree, which stands above the richest deposit of unobtainium in the area. When Grace learns of this, she transfers herself, Jake, and Norm to an outpost. Over the following 3 months, Jake grows to sympathize with the natives. After Jake is initiated into the tribe, he and 𝘚𝘏𝑡𝑟𝑖 choose each other as mates, and soon afterward, Jake reveals his change of allegiance when he attempts to disable a bulldozer that threatens to destroy a sacred Na'vi site. When Quaritch shows a video recording of Jake's attack on the bulldozer to Administrator Parker Selfridge, played by the guy from Ted and A Million Ways to Die in the West. And another in which Jake admits that the Na'vi will never abandon Home Tree, Selfridge orders Home Tree destroyed. Despite Grace's argument that destroying Home Tree could damage the biological neural network native to Pandora, Selfridge gives Jake and Grace 1 hour to convince the Na'vi to evacuate before commencing the attack. While trying to warn the Na'vi, Jake confesses to being a spy, and the Na'vi take him and Grace captive. Seeing this, Quaritch's men destroy Home Tree, killing 𝘚𝘏𝑡𝑟𝑖's father, the clan chief, and many others. Spoiler alert, by the way, I'm about to spoil the whole movie, so it's been 10 years since it's been released, but in case you haven't seen it or you're planning on seeing it soon, stop listening. 𝘚𝑗𝑡 frees Jake and Grace, but they are detached from their avatars and imprisoned by Quaritch's forces. Pilot Trudy Chacon, disguised by Quaritch's brutality, or disgusted by Quaritch's brutality, frees Jake, Grace, and Norm and airlifts them to Grace's outpost. But during the escape, Quaritch fires at them, hitting Grace. To regain the Na'vi's trust, Jake connects his mind to that of 𝘚𝑟𝑢𝑘, a dragon-like predator feared and honored by the Na'vi. Jake finds the refugees at the sacred Tree of Souls and pleads with 𝘚𝑗𝑡 to heal Grace. The clan attempts to transfer Grace from her human body into her avatar with the aid of the Tree of Souls, but she dies before the process can be completed. Supported by the new chief 𝘚𝑡𝑒, Jake speaks to unite the clan and tells them to gather all of the clans to battle against the RDA. Noticing the impending gathering, Quaritch organizes a preemptive strike against the Tree of Souls, believing that its destruction will demoralize the natives. On the eve of battle, Jake prays to 𝘚𝑗𝑡 via a neural connection with the Tree of Souls to intercede on behalf of the Na'vi. During the subsequent battle, the Na'vi suffer heavy casualties, including 𝘚𝑡𝑒 and Trudy, but are rescued when Pandoran wildlife unexpectedly join the attack and overwhelm the humans, which 𝘚𝘏𝑡𝑟𝑖 interprets as 𝘚𝑗𝑡's answer to Jake's prayer. Jake destroys a makeshift bomber before it can reach the Tree of Souls. Quaritch, wearing an amp suit, escapes from his own damaged aircraft and breaks open the Avatar Link unit containing Jake's human body, exposing it to Pandora's poisonous atmosphere. Quaritch prepares to slit the throat of Jake's avatar, but 𝘚𝘏𝑡𝑟𝑖 kills Quaritch and saves Jake from suffocation. With the exceptions of Jake, Norm, and a select few others, all humans are expelled from Pandora and sent back to Earth, after which Jake is permanently transferred into his avatar with the aid of the Tree of Souls. So he gets his legs back in the end. It's great. I think it's a great movie. I think it's like the highest grossing movie ever. I think it still holds the title of highest movie screening ever. It was really cool. I watched that documentary on disc 3 of the DVD, and it was like an hour and a half long, and it showed everything. My favorite part was the part where James Cameron invents this camera. He invented it. It's called the virtual camera, and obviously all the motion capture actors are wearing motion capture suits and stuff like that, and they're acting on this set. This is after they went to the jungle and they camped out in the jungle, just to kind of see what it would feel like to be living in the jungle. And then they went back to set and they started, shooting on set. But the set is just this gray set, just like there's like some boxes and stuff for them to climb on and ramps and stuff for them to run on. But that's it. There's like maybe green screen, but that's about it. It's just gray, nothing else for them to act off of. So James Cameron creates the virtual camera, which he can see kind of like the final product or something really close to the final product of what it'll look in the movie. And it's really cool, especially when they stopped filming. He used that to he could still see the characters in the camera, even though they were home already. They were gone. They weren't there anymore. So he looked through this camera and he could see not the actors, but their characters, their '𝘶𝘍. And that's how he set up all the shots and stuff. Like, he set up an angle and he recorded, and that's how he did it. And just, I don't know, I think every movie should be like that. It sounds super easy. And he makes it sound super easy anyway. But that's how they did it. I also liked finding out that they had actual costume people. They actually made real life costumes. Like, you have to understand that this whole movie is basically, with the exception of a few scenes, this whole movie is entirely computer generated. All the '𝘶𝘍 characters are computer generated. They don't exist. They're computers animated. And but they created their costumes. Like, there were people weaving skirts and stuff and headdresses and carving weapons and stuff for them to actually, practice with and shoot with, even though just to give the animators a base to animate off of. What would this look like? What would this headdress look like blowing in the wind, That was really cool. So they had a whole costume department. They deserve all the credit for that. Oh my god, even though it wasn't featured in the final film. But oh my god, that's so cool. I think they stopped shooting a couple weeks before it was distributed. So that's amazing. What else did they talk about in that film? All kinds of training that they went through. All the actors had to have their own special training regimen. Some of them had to ride horses. Some of them had to take dance lessons. Obviously, they created a language, so all the '𝘶𝘍 characters had to learn how to speak this language that James Cameron and a linguist came up with and invented a language that didn't exist prior. And they had to learn that. And then Zoe Saldana probably has the hardest character in the movie, because she speaks English, but she has an accent. So she had to come up with what a ☶𝘶𝑉 accent would sound like. A ☶𝘶𝑉 speaking English. And all the other actors kind of followed her lead. But yeah, it's just a phenomenal movie. I think the ride at Animal Kingdom takes place a generation after all this happens. I don't know. I haven't heard very much about Avatar 2, but that's coming out really soon, within the next couple of years. It says December 16th, 2020. So next year is when Avatar 2 will be released. And I don't know what it's going to be about, but they're supposed to make a whole ton of these movies. Because money, right? And I think Disney owns it now. I think it's a 20th Century Fox movie originally, but Disney owns the rights now because they have a whole land at Animal Kingdom. And now I understand and appreciate this culture that doesn't exist. Well, I guess it exists now, thanks to James Cameron, but he's just so brilliant. It's great. Definitely, if you're into the same stuff I am, definitely check out that third disc, the making of Avatar. Yeah, I think that's about all I have to say about it. I really, there's so much that I could talk about, but that's the summary, and those are some of my favorite parts about the making of. So we're going to go into another quick music break, and when we come back, I'm going to talk about my favorite show right at the moment, The Umbrella Academy. It's based off of a comic that 𝘗𝑎d, the lead singer of one of my favorite bands, My Chemical Romance, it's based off of his comic book series. So I'll give you all the details when we come. Welcome back to Emily's Playhouse on HawkRadio. That was I'm Blue by Eiffel 65. And this is a cover of the Turtles' Happy Together by 𝘗𝘗𝘬𝘈 featuring 𝘉𝘗𝑚. Two people in My Chemical Romance. So it was really exciting when they released these songs for the Umbrella Academy, which I will talk about after this break. So enjoy Happy Together by 𝘗𝘗𝘬𝘈. Welcome back to Emily's Playhouse. That was Happy Together by 𝘗𝘗𝘬𝘈 featuring 𝘉𝘗𝑚. It was a cover of the Turtles song Happy Together, but that was their cover. It was made for the show that I'm about to talk about, the Umbrella Academy. And it was a big deal because they were both in My Chemical Romance, a band that, an emo band, but they were popular back in the day, like from 2005, 2006 to 2013 is when they broke up, and everybody, all the emo kids were so sad, and we're still sad about it, but they're off doing their own thing, and 𝘗𝘗𝘬𝘈 is into, like, you know, cartoons and comics, so he created this comic series. It's by, like, Dark Horse Comics or whatever, and it's called The Umbrella Academy. It's about superheroes, and they made it into a Netflix series that just came out February 15th, right after Valentine's Day. And it's just, I loved it. I watched it all in like maybe 2 days. And now I gotta read the comics. So yeah. So The Umbrella Academy. It is an American superhero web television series developed by Steve Blackman and Jeremy Slater for Netflix. It is an adaptation of the comic book series of the same name, created by 𝘗𝘗𝘬𝘈 and Gabriel Ba, and published by Dark Horse Comics. Yeah, Dark Horse Comics. The plot revolves around a dysfunctional family of adopted sibling superheroes who reunite to solve the mystery of their father's death and the threat of an impending apocalypse. The series is produced by Borderline Entertainment, Dark Horse Entertainment, and Universal Cable Productions. It stars Ellen Page as Vanya Hargreaves, the seventh of these children. I will read the premise in a second, but number 7, Tom Hopper as Luther Hargreaves as number 1, David Castaneda as Diego Hargreaves, number 2, Emmy Raver Lampman as Allison Hargreaves, number 3, Robert Sheehan as Klaus Hargreaves, number 4. He's my favorite. Aidan Gallagher as number 5. He doesn't have a name. He's just called number 5, or the boy. Mary J. Blige as Cha-Cha, a ruthless assassin who is work partners with Hazel. Cameron Britton as Hazel, Cha-Cha's partner, who slowly becomes disillusioned with his life as a commission agent. John Magaro as Leonard Peabody / Harold Jenkins, Vanya's love interest. Adam Godley as Pogo, a chimpanzee. Oh man, I just rolled over his face and he looks like a chimpanzee. He has really big ears. Colm Feore as Sir Reginald Hargreaves, their father, or their stepfather. Sheila McCarthy as Agnes. She works at a donut. She's Hazel's love interest. She works at a donut shop. She's Hazel's love interest. They're really cute. They're my favorite. Justin H. Min as Ben Hargreaves, number 6. He's already deceased, but he appears as a ghost to Klaus, who can see the dead. Jordan Claire Robbins as Grace Hargreaves, their mom. And there's a bunch of people. Ashley Madekwe as Detective Eudora Patch, Diego's love interest, and a bunch of other people. So there's like 10 episodes. Because it's Netflix, and they do like 10 episodes at a time of everything. But here's the synopsis, and you can decide whether or not it's something you would like to check out. So, on October 1st, 1989, 43 women around the world give birth simultaneously, despite none of them showing any sign of pregnancy until labor began. So this show starts out in this like Russian like pool, what do you call it? Like YMCA almost. And a woman jumps into a pool. She's kind of flirting with this guy, and she jumps into a pool, and she just starts bleeding. Her water breaks. She gives birth even though she wasn't pregnant, and the guy's like freaking out, like, what the heck? And that's their story. That's their origin story, I guess. They're all Virgin Marys. There's 43 of them. And this guy, Sir Reginald Hargreaves, adopts 7 of them. So 7 of the children are adopted by the eccentric billionaire, Sir Reginald Hargreaves, and turned into a superhero team through what he calls, quote, the Umbrella Academy, unquote. Hargreaves gives the children numbers rather than names, but they are eventually named by their nanny robot mother Grace as Luther, Diego, Allison, Klaus, number 5, his only name, Ben, and Vanya. While putting 6 of his children to work fighting crime, Reginald keeps Vanya apart from her siblings' activities, as she has no powers of her own. In the present day, Luther is an astronaut, Allison is a famous actress, Vanya is a violinist, Klaus is a party animal with a drug addiction, of course. Ben is a ghost only able to converse with Klaus, and Diego has become a vigilante with a penchant for trouble. The estranged siblings learn that Reginald has died and gather for his funeral. Number 5 returns from the future, revealing a global apocalypse is imminent. Meanwhile, the reunited siblings try to uncover the secret of their dysfunctional family while beginning to come apart due to their divergent personalities and abilities. It's a really dramatic series, but I love it. Yeah. Any questions? Concerns? Comments? I really like this show. I love it. It encompasses like everything. I like you can tell it has Gerard Way undertones. Like there's that, emo kind of feel of My Chemical Romance and also superheroes. So yeah, it has a little bit of everything. It's a really dark show. It's really great. I gotta read the comics for real. Go check out the comics. I don't know if it's one of those shows. I'm biased because I've only seen the show on Netflix. I didn't even see any promotional for it, to be honest. I just kind of saw everybody was talking about Gerard Way all of a sudden. I'm like, what? What do you do? So I watched it, and it turned out to be a great show. I didn't even know he was working on these comics, but now that I know, I gotta read them. But I don't know if it's you gotta read the comics before you watch the show or what. But the comics probably go way more in depth with it than the show does, obviously, because that's how most things go. But yeah, the show. I mean, there's only 10 episodes, so I mean, I say just do it, just crank it out in an afternoon or two. And but yeah, I'm really proud of Gerard Way. After his life post My Chemical Romance, I'm glad he's happy and doing his thing, doing what he loves, and he's successful after My Chemical Romance, because like that's his magnum opus. That's what people know him for, and sometimes it's hard to kind of do other things, like Daniel Radcliffe and Harry Potter. People see him as Harry Potter, but I'm glad Gerard Way kind of broke through, and he's doing his thing, with the comics and the animation making and just drawing and Netflix, and he's doing great. I'm so proud of him. And he's still singing. Some of his songs are, I just played Happy Together, and then I'm gonna play a cover of a Simon and Garfunkel song that him and Ray Toro did called Hazy Shade of Winter. That's gonna be the next one. He's doing his thing. He's still making music. He's still got that talent, but I don't know. It's just nothing but good things for Gerard Way. I'm proud of him. So, as I mentioned before, this is A Hazy Shade of Winter by Gerard Way featuring Ray Toro. It is a cover of, I think it's a cover of a Bengals song, which is a cover of a Simon and Garfunkel song. So, we'll see how that goes. Enjoy it. They play it, spoiler alert, they play it at the very last episode during the end credits. So, it sounds familiar, that's why. And when we come back, I will be playing some Jonas Brothers, and we'll be talking about their comeback, which is super exciting. It's the talk of the town, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. That was One Man Show by the Jonas Brothers, off the album A Little Bit Longer. That's probably my favorite Jonas Brothers song. And in case you've been living under a rock for the past week or so, they're back, everybody. Yay! The Jonas Brothers are back. That's the what do you call it? The reunited. We didn't ask for that, but I'm glad it happened. So the Jonas Brothers are an American pop rock band. They formed in 2005, and they gained popularity from their appearances on the Disney Channel television network. They consist of 3 brothers, Kevin, Joe, and Nick. They were raised in Wyckoff, New Jersey, and yeah, in the summer of 2008, they starred in the movie Camp Rock and their sequel, Camp Rock 2. And they also had their own Disney Channel series called Jonas, which was rebranded as Jonas LA after the first season. and then it got canceled. They have 4 albums currently. The first one released in 2006. It was called "It's About Time." Then their, what do you call it, 𝘚𝘗𝘦, the one that's named after their band, it's called the Jonas Brothers, came out in 2007. A little bit longer came out in 2008, and 𝘗𝑰𝑛𝑠, 𝑉INES, and Trying Times came out in 2009. 6 years after following their split, the group reunited with the release of "Sucker," which I'm going to play in a second, on March 1st, 2019. Yeah, and it has a bunch of information on them. They released a song called "Pom-Poms," and that's the last I heard of them. They had a show, like Living with Jonas or something like that, after Kevin got married. And it was about like Kevin and his wife Danielle. And yeah, their life. They have a 4th brother named Frankie. He's not in the band again. But all this week they've been on James Corden just doing stuff. And yeah, Pom-Poms was the last thing I heard them do. This is a 5th album. I didn't know they were gonna have a 5th album. Oh, they had a on July 10th, 2013, the group announced that their 5th studio album will be titled V, the Roman numeral for 5. On October 9th, 2013, they canceled it in their comeback tour, which, citing a deep rift within the band over creative differences. So they really did split. And they went off and got married. Yeah. 2013, the same year as My Chemical Romance. Oh my god. Oh my god, everybody talks about My Chemical Romance breaking up, but nobody talks about nobody talks about the Jonas Brothers splitting up in 2013. 2013 was a bad year for music, I feel like. Like, imagine where we would be if My Chemical Romance never split, or if Jonas Brothers never split. We'd be so advanced right now. We'd have some great music, but I'm glad they're back. I don't think My Chemical Romance is going to come back anytime soon. I mean, I think Ray Toro and Gerard Way, that's the best we're going to get. But anyway, Sucker, they're back. I just can't believe it. I wasn't like fangirling or anything, because I mean, Jonas Brothers, that was like my friends and stuff. That's what they were into. I was into cartoons and stuff when the Jonas Brothers were popular. So cartoons, if they rebooted a cartoon like the 𝘈𝘁𝘳 movie, I'm stoked about that. I'm stoked. I'm psyched. I'm stoked. I'm super excited about the 𝘈𝘁𝘳 movie that may or may not release on Nickelodeon because they suck. But because that's what I was into around the time my friends were into the Jonas Brothers. But I knew through them, I knew a bunch of Jonas Brothers songs, and I loved Camp Rock. You know, my friend Riley had her like 9th birthday was a watch party for Camp Rock, because it was like, when did that come out? Like the same week she turned 9. And so I'm very familiar with the Jonas Brothers songs and their songs from Camp Rock and their albums. I know a good number of their songs from each album, not just one specific one. But I mean, I wasn't a huge Jonas Brothers fan. Like, my friend Rosa tried to go to one of their concerts one time and it was flooded. I wasn't the type to go to a Jonas Brothers concert, you know? You feel me? But they're back now, and I'm super excited. I mean, I didn't listen to their song that I'm about to play. I didn't listen to it immediately, because I was up in New York when they dropped it. But it's really good. It reminds me of some of their old stuff, which is great. They're still the same old Jonas Brothers. And like I said, they've been on James Corden all week, and they've just been playing games and stuff, and it's just great. I don't know. It's great to see them all together, because, I mean, Nick Jonas is doing his solo stuff, and Kevin's married, and Joe has been with DNCE, and they're back. It's just crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, that's the Jonas Brothers. What else? I miss Hannah Montana. I think Miley Cyrus should bring Hannah Montana back next. I'd be more excited for if Hannah Montana came back than the Jonas Brothers, I think. That's the tea. That's the tea, everybody. But I'm going to play their song Sucker. Brand new song Sucker. Premiered a week ago. I think it premiered like yesterday on TV, but they dropped this on the 1st. So hopefully it won't crap out. We'll see. And then I'll start wrapping things up, everybody. So Stay tuned. Enjoy Sucker by the Jonas Brothers. That was Sucker by the Jonas Brothers. Brand new song. I gotta cut it short here today, folks. But, yeah, it really reminds me of their old stuff. It really, I can't put my finger on it, but it's like, I don't know, nostalgic to me. But today we talked about Avatar, the blue people, not the Last Airbender. That's a different movie. I'm not as optimistic about that movie. But it's a great movie. I'm really, I can't believe I'm an Avatar fan. It took me forever to see it. 10 years. I was 9 when that movie came out, or 10 maybe. I was about 10 when that movie came out, 5th grade. So I wasn't watching it in theaters, but I'm glad I watched it now. And every time they open a new land at Disney, I'm like hesitant because it's like it's always stuff that they bought. It's never like, oh, here's a Snow White land or something Disney. It's always something they bought, so I'm always hesitant. I'm like, that's so unnecessary. They don't need that. But I mean, I'm glad it exists at Animal Kingdom. I appreciate it now because Animal Kingdom, I'm gonna be honest, Animal Kingdom wasn't that exciting for people. I feel like it wasn't as exciting as, it didn't have the rides, or it had the shows obviously, and but it didn't have the same feel as the other parks. It's the newer one. It's about a year older than me, so I'm glad they have Pandora now, and it's getting popular. It's bringing in the crowds, so good for that. We also talked about the Umbrella Academy, Gerard Way's comic book series turned Netflix show. It's just really, I can't describe it. It's really entertaining. Watch it. Just watch it. Just read it. Support Gerard Way and his endeavors post My Chemical Romance. One thing I know what I can talk about. I'm really happy that the show exists because people are starting to go back to their My Chemical Romance phase. They started listening to and streaming The Black Parade, so I listen to that album probably once a week, once a day even. I listen to that. That album is always on my rotation, on my shuffle, so I'm really glad people are listening to it again and bringing it into the lexicon again now that the show exists. So shout out to Umbrella Academy and The Black Parade, one of the greatest albums I know. And we talked about the Jonas Brothers, who are back, and I'm super excited. I can't wait to see what they drop in the future, what albums, what songs. They've had sex, so who knows what kind of songs we're going to get. I'm so excited. But yeah, happy Women's Day, everybody, once again. Good luck to Kristen at MPAs. Everybody wish her good luck, that she gets a superior or whatever. Go see Captain Marvel. Go see the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. Go to the Strawberry Festival this weekend while you still can. I don't know who's performing. Check out the previous episode where we talked about the highlighting entertainment. Go to Bay Area Ren Fest. Go check out my girl Pipsy. Go see Rocky Horror tomorrow. I'm going to be Trixie. It's going to be great. We're going to have a great show. It's going to be fun. Lots of energy. Have a great spring break. Be safe. If you're going to Disney anytime soon, drop me a line. Hit me up. I'll probably be there. Yeah, we can have fun. If you see me out anywhere, compliment my hair because it took 6 hours. Shout out to my girl Shelby at the Beehive in Plant City. I think that's everything. Just be safe. Have a great spring break. Follow my show on social media at Emily's Playhouse on Instagram, at Em's Playhouse on Twitter, and Emily's Playhouse on HawkRadio on Facebook. You can listen to previous episodes on Facebook and on YouTube. They'll be up there shortly, including this one. And listen every Friday from noon to 1. What should I talk about next week? It's going to be a surprise. I still haven't talked about AC/DC yet. So, or Run DMC. I haven't talked about Run DMC and Aerosmith yet. So that's probably what I'm going to talk about next week. And we'll see about the rest of it. Send requests. If you want to be on the show, drop me a line. Send music requests. What do you want to hear from me? What can I do for you? And yeah, just have a great spring break. Happy Women's Day. HawkRadio.PremisDream.com. That's where you should be listening now. But if not, I'm live on there at noon every Friday. So I'll be here. I will see you guys next week. Stay tuned for the next show coming up at 1. And yeah, thanks for listening.